Yes, welcome back to the South Australian Sports Show. There's been a lot in the last couple of years on what's happening with Indigenous, reconciliation round, all that sort of stuff. And here in South Australia, there's a great program that's been running for 3 years out at St Clair at the moment. Timmy Brenton's the master out there with a fellow called Scotty Whitmore. But Scotty doesn't want to come on TV because he's just too high profile for us. But he's been good enough to bring Ambah Kowcun's come in. We're going to have a chat with you guys. Hey, Tim, I'll start with you first, mate. The Indigenous basketball program, why'd you get it started?
Well, it was an idea of Paul Vandenberg, who's heavily involved with the Port Adelaide Power Aboriginal programs, and he saw the shortfall in not a lot of Aboriginal kids coming through in the basketball space as well. So there was a football academy, so it was natural for him to start up a basketball academy. So we started up 3 years ago with a partnership with Woodville High, and that's grown into a further partnership with SASS, the South Australian Aboriginal Sports Training Academy, where we now have kids all from around Adelaide as opposed to just coming from Woodville High.
Tim, you'd be happy if your program, if the Aboriginal program goes as well as the football program that Vandenberg is running, because that's been a massive success.
Well, Barry, I would say ours is better than the football academy. So Paul's done some amazing things, has given a lot of exposure to Aboriginal education, Aboriginal awareness, and we're going down the same path, just a little bit smaller, just because of the corporate entity of a football club as opposed to myself and Scotty and Craig Gilbert and Paul Vandenberg. We're just ex-Woodville players that have a passion for trying to educate young people, but in particular the Aboriginal space. So.
And is the criteria the same as far as education goes, participation and all that sort of thing?
So there are some requirements for the kids to meet, such as attendance and completion of subjects. And we try and provide a space where we connect, engage, then educate. And that's really, really important. And Ambah's a pretty good example of the outcomes that we can achieve.
Well, let's talk about you then, Ambah. So you've been away with the Australian team, but off to New Zealand, and then you've been up in Canberra for a little while. So coming through the program was really good for you?
Yeah, I thought the Aboriginal Basketball Academy was an amazing program. I'm really glad that they've set something up like that for Aboriginal students, because it motivates them a lot more to go to school and be on task and not do the wrong thing. So yeah, it's a really good program.
So you're a good role model for that now too. So you've taken a new role in the organisation as well?
Yeah, so I'm back at St Clair now as a role model or mentor, so helping out in the classroom as well as on the basketball courts in the training sessions.
So 18 years old, already a mentor, so that's pretty impressive. Tim had to wait till he got to 60. So hey, what do you think is the hardest message to get through to the Indigenous kids?
I think it's just like staying on track. Like, you hear about like all the bad stories and stuff, but like I think like just really getting through that you can go somewhere, you can be like different and a role model, and others can look up to you. So I think it's just really like making them be on track. And
they'd have to look up to you though. They'd have to look up to you, given you now work with SASTA as well. You're in there.
Yeah.
At 18 years of age, what you've achieved so far, and if they look at that, there's their inspiration right there. An 18-year-old that's done all you've done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, Ambah, my daughter's best friend's an Indigenous girl, and she went to Bond University, studied psychology, finished her degree, and is now doing psychology.
Yeah.
She said that she thinks that the women are more motivated to succeed than the men. Is that fair or unfair?
I would say that's pretty fair.
Let me ask you, Tim. What do you think, Tim?
I would say it's.
I just want to get it from
I'd probably say unfair to a lot of young men that are.
I'm not saying there's not young men that aren't trying to do it.
Yeah, I think it's okay to generalise at times.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of assumptions made about Aboriginal people all the time, especially from non-Aboriginal people, that gets in the way. So there are a lot of challenges for young Aboriginal families, either in metropolitan or living on community out in other parts of Australia. So it's access to education, access to things that people like yourselves and I, we just take for granted every day.
Where do you get them from, Tim? Where do they come from?
We Year 11 and 12 students from any school, any mainstream school, young person that's enrolled in Year 11 or 12. So they can have a flexible timetable, so they can attend with us 1 day a week and attend school 4 days a week or 3 days a week. And it's a flexible timetable for the students.
Mate, what's been the biggest challenge for you? Getting the Indigenous kids to embrace it, or getting the non-Indigenous people to understand what you're doing?
It's a good question. Probably not too many challenges, just because we enjoy it so much. Like yourself, you try and give back to the sport that's been amazing to me. So to give back a little bit, the kids are they're just amazing. They're just the best kids you'll ever meet in the world. A lot of people want to get involved, and Scotty does a lot of stuff behind the scenes where a lot of people want to get involved, but where we get to is, and it's the same with Paul at the football club, not everyone's an appropriate cultural service for Aboriginal kids. So as much as we all want to help, I think being culturally aware is really, really important to get the most out of the outcomes, because of what I said before about just so many assumptions are made.
Yeah.
And I think maybe some old school thinking on their views on Aboriginal people. So that might get in the way a little bit, but as far as the biggest challenge, I would say, is just that regular attendance.
All right, tell us about Cops for Kids.
Cops for Kids, well, they, Drew Bino, who I'm not sure if you're aware, familiar, an old Woodville fella, he walked into St Clair a few weeks ago and we were there. He didn't even know we existed, and as it turns out, his used to be a neighbour of Scott Whitmore. They joined fences, so you can't help bad luck. And so we just got talking, and they've been amazing with some support, some financial support. And that financial support's going to go to paying for our Aboriginal mentor, Joey White, who we'll give a plug, who's one of the most inspirational Aboriginal men you'll ever meet, and he does some amazing work with the kids. So I get the easy job, I coach, I do the basketball stuff. But Joey does all the culturally appropriate stuff with the kids and the family. So for me to ring up a kid like Ambah and say, you coming to school day, has no impact because I'm non-Aboriginal, whereas Joey gets on the phone every Thursday, he's texting parents and has some amazing success. So the stuff with Cops for Kids, their sponsorship allows us to continue to partner with Joey to do the stuff that he does.
Hey, just quickly before we wind it up, a big opportunity coming up for the kids too. Take them to the States at the end of the year.
We're off to the States, so it's been 3 years in the making. We've tried, like the Port Footy Club, where they do the China and New Zealand. We thought the only place to take kids for a basketball experience would definitely be America. That's where it's all at. So going to LA at the time where Anthony Davis and LeBron have teamed up is going to be pretty special. So we're hopeful we can run into Paddy Mills along the way. He's been an amazing ambassador and support person for the academy as well. So
Is he aware?
yeah,
Paddy?
he did a luncheon for us 2 years ago and was
Okay.
very generous with his time and his own money, and as people would expect, but behind the scenes he's just been amazing. So we're hopeful to catch up with him somewhere along the line and give the kids a basketball experience.
Hey, Tim and Ambah, really appreciate you coming in. We could talk for a lot longer, so we need to get you back because there's some other things that we need to chat about. Well done by you, Ambah. 18 years old to be a role model. Fantastic.
Yeah, amazing
Terrific to
work.
meet you too. Stay with us. Still, plenty to come on the show.